Hi, Juanito again. My son is practicing drums downstairs, so I hope this doesn't work out to my disadvantage. But I'm going to go ahead right now and make my second video. I just made my first video ever a few minutes ago. Uh, and I'm going to make another one right now because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. I'm really thinking a lot about the many times I have heard capitalism versus socialism. Which is better? It's a silly question. It's an illogical question, and I'll explain why. The people that ask that question don't understand either one of them and how they relate to each other. So let's go there. Let's find out why is that an absurd question. It's absurd because it's what you call a false dichotomy. It's an illogical question because capitalism and socialism are inseparable and belong together. What? I thought they were opposites that hated each other. Let's look at it. Around the world today, there is no government which is 100% capitalist. There is no government which is 100% socialist. Too much capitalism, danger. Too much socialism, danger. It's a mixture of the two. Let's look at our own society today. What is socialist about our own society? Just run off a few quick things so you understand what I'm talking about. Fire department, police department, army, National Park Service, federal funded highway system. So many things, okay? I could go on. Schools, public education. These are what you call socialist. Why is it socialist? Because our collective tax dollars are paying for these services for us, okay? And helping us, okay? So that is what is socialist about our current society. What is capitalist about our society? We have enterprises and free enterprise. You can go get a job. You can start a business. You can work. You can get ahead. Okay? You can go get a second job. You have incentive. Okay? We're making profit. We're buying and selling. Okay? Each one of these systems has positive aspects and negative aspects. We want to minimize the negative things and maximize the positive things in each one of those, okay? So the three examples or analogies I'll give you really quickly now are going to explain why capitalism and how capitalism and socialism and how socialism belong together. Really, if you like brownies, do you like brownies? You know, with or without the THC? Do you like brownies? I do. And if someone were to say to me, well, would you like me to make brownies for you? And I want you to let me know, would you like sugar or flour in your brownies? And I'm going to say, I want both, right? Because I want brownies that are just sweet enough, not too sweet. I want them to have that nice consistency that flour gives me. I like them chewy, okay? So I want my brownies as a mixture of both. You can't give me, but that's like, would you like capitalism or socialism? It's the same kind of silly question. A capitalist, or someone that thinks he's a capitalist, says, I'm against socialism, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, okay? Because you already are living off of socialism. Your Social Security, your Medicare, you know, and you're driving on a public funded highway. Socialism. You get to call the police department. Socialism. You don't know what you're talking about saying you hate socialism. Likewise, a socialist saying I hate capitalism or capitalism is evil. Baloney. Capitalism gives you a lot of your freedom, your wealth, going out to be able to make a profit, improve, and help your family, help yourself, to get a job, to get a raise, to make more money. The buying and selling of goods is an economic engine for our society. And you cannot get rid of that economic engine. You can control it. You can mix it. Go back to the recipe. We're mixing flour and sugar. We're mixing a perfect recipe the way we'd want it. My perfect recipe, and I'm sure yours wouldn't either, my recipe for this country does not include childhood poverty, homelessness, including homeless veterans, which is really awful, the poor health we see, people that are uninsured, people that can't pay for their insurance. There's so many things about our society today, which I would say these are some pretty shitty brownies we're eating here. Terrible. Look, let's fix the recipe. These brownies suck. Okay? Now, the second analogy would be a car. I like this one. I think it's the first one I came up with. No, second one. So it is second. Uh, Capitalism would be the gas in a car. You're hitting the gas, going back to the idea of the economic engine of our society. But you're hitting that gas, you're going places. You got power with capitalism. Okay? It's moving you. Let's face it. So people who want to get rid of capitalism really don't know what they're talking about. Okay? But let me tell you something. People that don't like socialism don't know what the hell they're talking about either, because can you drive a car without a steering wheel? No. Socialism is your steering wheel. You're taking that powerful engine and hitting the gas, and you're going places, but you're going to steer towards a just society, a healthy society, a safe society, a society where you don't have terrible greed and injustice. You're steering it. You're controlling that engine, but you're letting the engine rev and run, just making sure it doesn't do the wrong thing or go take you to the wrong place. Okay, and finally, if you want to complete the analogy and have fun with the third thing, the brakes. What would the brakes be? The brakes would be the law. Okay, you can't do that. Oop, stop. Okay, so there's your car analogy. Okay, the final one I want to mention to you is the chemical analogy. Salt is made up of sodium and chloride. In fact, another name for salt is sodium chloride. Okay, if you look at these two chemicals, sodium and chloride, sodium is very toxic in certain cases, and so is chloride, toxic. By themselves, toxic. And this is a great analogy because socialism all by itself is toxic. Sorry, socialists. Capitalism by itself is toxic. Sorry, capitalists. It's true. Put together sodium and chloride, you get a useful thing for all of us. Salt. We use it in our food. Okay, people used to pay wages in salt because no one liked bland food. Salt was very valuable. Still is valuable. Okay, so a useful thing is salt together. Toxic apart. Socialism and capitalism fall perfectly into that analogy because they need each other to be useful. The farther away they are from each other, the less useful they are for society. Okay, so democratic socialism, to sum up, is a way to decide what we want in our society, restructure our tax structure, the steering wheel. Let's steer towards a good, just society. Why do we call it democratic? Because if you really look around now, and you look around your society, would you have voted for this kind of society? Okay, just like your perfect brownie mix would not include homeless people. If you were to vote for something, would you vote for what you see? The uninsured people, the homelessness, poverty, people not being able to afford a decent home and support their family with a 40-hour-a-week full-time job and still not making it? Is that what you would vote for? Okay, what would you vote for? Think about what you vote for, and that's what we would call democratic socialism, because most people would choose a little bit more in goodies and services with our hard-earned tax dollars. Okay, so capitalism, socialism, they belong together. They should never be separate, and we have to decide what the recipe is. Think about it. What's your perfect recipe of capitalism, socialism? What kind of a society would you like to give to your children and grandchildren? Okay? This is Juanito again saying thank you for listening, talking about democratic socialism. Okay? What it is and what it is not. Thanks.